Hello and welcome to another video from Educare Coaching Academy. This video is about weekly economic and financial updates from June 12th to June 17th, 2023. The first headline is banks likely to hit pause button on fixed deposits rate hike. Experts say banks maintain current interest rates in FDs. FDs means fixed deposits. However, investors seeking to maximize the return may remain invested. This table shows the FD tenures and their interest rates. For 6 months, the banks are paying 4.25 to 5.75, 1 year 5 to 6.8, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Depositors hoping to pocket some extra returns from fixed deposits in banks are likely to be discouraged because banks are not going to increase the interest rates on FD in the current year. According to experts relating to the field, those who know about the banking field, the rates are either likely to remain the same at current levels or may go downwards also. Due to increased liquidity in the banking system, the lenders, that are the banks, are under no pressure whatsoever to raise interest rates on fixed deposits to mobilize funds in the current year. Now they are lavish with more liquidity. Enough liquidity is with the banks. So therefore, they are under no pressure to increase the rates of fixed deposits to lure the depositors to deposit their money into the banking system. Further, it says the demonetization of rupees 2000 notes and the subsequent deposits, because the central government has demonetized the currency note of rupees 2000, and therefore the people having possession of such currencies are required to deposit those 2000 notes into the banks, into their accounts, or they have to exchange it through the counters of the banks. And therefore, the deposit of such notes has provided a significant boost to liquidity, and the banks are really out of the pressure zone to raise the fixed deposit rates further. However, the decision to change the deposit rates vary from bank to bank, as the liquidity conditions are also not same. Some banks have liquidity surplus, some banks have liquidity deficit. So it varies from bank to bank. It doesn't mean that all the banks are going to fix the interest rates same, but it differs from bank to bank according to their financial strength and conditions. If they have enough liquidity, yes, of course, some banks have enough liquidity, they have surplus liquidity, and there may be such banks are not compelled to increase rates, and they don't have to lure more depositors into their fixed deposit scheme. And certain other banks may not have enough liquidity, they may have deficit liquidity. So such banks may be compelled to raise the FD rate. And the cause of the current increase in liquidity is driven by the increase in government spending, decline in the currency in circulation, and the redemption of government bonds. The decision by the central government of India to withdraw rupees 2,000 currency notes from circulation further boosts the short-term liquidity in the banking system. Another headline is Reserve Bank of India, RBI, the Central Bank of the UAE in talk on local currency trade. While addressing the first meeting of the India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, here Comprehensive Economic Partnership Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA. It is a free trade agreement between India and the United Arab Emirates. So both the countries have agreed in principle to trade in their local currencies. The Commerce Minister of India has said that talks are in progress between the central banks of both the countries. RBI in the case of India and the Central Bank of the UAE, RBI is the Central Bank of India and the Central Bank of the UAE is the Central Bank of the UAE. They are in discussion on trade deals in local currencies, that is in rupees and dirhams, INR and dirhams. With regard to the use of local currencies of both the nations in their bilateral trade. Bilateral trade means two-way trade. Both the countries are also looking forward to reach the bilateral trade at 100 billion US dollar. That is not including petroleum products by the year 2030. So by the year 2030, both the nations have agreed to increase their trade to the volume of US dollar 100 billion. US dollar 100 billion. So in order to reach that goal, both the countries have entered into a free trade agreement, which is called a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. And they are in the process of boosting the trade between the two nations. India has achieved a remarkable growth in trade with the UAE, that is of 12%, reaching 31.6 billion in 2022-23. A separate video will be done about India UAE CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. MRF becomes the first share in the Indian stock market to hit rupees 1 lakh. On 13th June, MRF became the first Indian share to touch a record high 6-digit figures, that is rupees 1 lakh. After a gain of 20% in the last 2.5 months, the share touched an intraday high of rupees 1,03,000 before settling at rupees 99,950.65 per share on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So MRF became the first ever stock in India to trade in 6-digit figures. The stock went up to rupees 1,03,000 on 1,03,000 on Bombay Stock Exchange. This amount is also its 52-week high level, the highest in 52 weeks. Despite its high prices on the exchanges, it doesn't mean that the stock is an expensive one, nor it has given the best 1-year return among its peers. So let's look into this table. And it's a comparison between MRF and its peers or competitors like CEAT, Apollo Tyres, JK Tyres, and one more, Balakrishna Industries. And in the 1-year return, CEAT tops the high. 120% has been given by CEAT Tyres. 119% was provided by Apollo Tyres. JK Tyre has given 85%, and MRF has given only 47%, and Balakrishna Industries a meager 6% in the 1-year return. But when we look into the 3-year, 5-year, or 10-year chart, these rates have come down for all the players. 31% for CEAT, Apollo Tyres 56, MRF, JK Tyres 47, MRF only 16%. And in the 5-year term and 10-year, in the 5-year term, all the tire manufacturing companies could provide only a meager return to the investors. That is 8%, 8%, 8%, 6% by MRF. But the point to be noted is that except in the 1-year period, Balakrishna Industries has given a very impressive return to the investors compared to other, especially in the 5-year term and 10-year period. Balakrishna Industry has given 16% and 34% respectively. So the high value of a share can be attributed to the management's decision to never go for a stock split or bonus issue. Here, two terms are to be noted: stock split. Bonus issue. So another video shall be made explaining these terms, stock split and bonus issue. So what the analysts are saying is that, or the experts are saying is that, the high value of a share can be attributed to the management's decision to never go for a stock split or bonus issue, unlike most of the blue chip stocks. PhonePe launches payment gateway to tap small business. This is another important news during the last week. PhonePe on June 14th launches payment gateway. Payment gateway. PhonePe launches payment gateway, in an attempt to serve MSME. MSME, micro, small, medium enterprise, MSME. Or in short, we can say small industries, small and medium businesses. So it has launched or introduced its first payment gateway in order to tap small and medium businesses. PhonePe is a fintech unicorn, which means can be described as a startups that is valued at more than $1 billion. So here, PhonePe, which has a 50% market share by value in the Indian UPI segment, it has received the NBFC-AA license from RBI and it launched account aggregator services through its wholly owned PhonePe Technology Services Private Limited. So it has received a license from the RBI to launch account aggregator. So this is also one of the important terms to be understood. And another video shall be done explaining all these important aspects. So PhonePe is a Walmart-backed digital payment company. It is promoted by Walmart and it's a digital payment company and it has launched its first payment gateway with an intention, with an object to tap the small and medium market section. So which has more than 50% market share by value in Indian UPI market segment. And it received the license from NBFC, non-banking financial companies, AA license from RBI to launch account aggregator services. Another headline is about India's trade condition in the month of May. India's May goods trade deficit up at $22 billion. The trade deficit in goods or merchandise of India in the month of May is widened to a 5-month high of US dollar 22.12 billion. Exports in goods declined 10.3% year on year to 34.98 billion in US dollars. This is according to the data provided by the government of India. So a slowing economy around the globe is said to be the reason for this slowing down of or the trade deficit of India, and it is facing this trade deficit for the 4th month in a row, and that has touched nearly 35 billion of US dollars. So you can see in this table the comparison between India's exports and imports of merchandise and services. But despite decline in the merchandise export, there is some kind of relief in the service export. Service export is looking good and positive, and it stood at US dollar 25.3 billion, while its imports were estimated at US dollar 13.53 billion in the month of May. The reason for this decline is said to be a global slowdown. Imports also declined by 6.6% year on year to US dollar 57.1 billion in this month also. And this decline in trade is driven by the decline in the purchase of gems and jewelry. Some items like gems and jewelry, chemicals, cotton and vegetable oil, etc. So their purchases, purchase of these commodities have been declined, and the decline overall was driven by these. So here in this slide, we can see two sections, and the first section reads like RBI has allowed the banks to go for compromise to settlement with willful defaulters. Willful defaulters. RBI has agreed or permitted the banks and its boards to go for compromise settlement with willful defaulters. Who is a willful defaulter, or who are the willful defaulters? A willful defaulter is a borrower who refuses to repay loans despite having the capacity to pay up the loan amount. A borrower from the bank becomes a defaulter when there is no payment of interest or principal component for a period of 90 days. So a willful defaulter is one who is not repaying the amount of loan, even though he has the capacity to do so. So he becomes a willful defaulter if he is not paying the interest or principal element of the loan he has taken for a period of 90 days. Once a person is tagged as a willful defaulter, he or she cannot access any loans. He cannot access loans from any of the banks. Such persons will be banned from the financial system also. And the second section, we are talking about some actions from the finance ministry. Central and state government tax authorities relating to GST. GST authorities from central and state governments. GST means goods and services tax. They have intensified the crackdown on tax violations like fake invoices, fraudulent or fake invoices, and registration. And this is a campaign started by these authorities from May 15th, and the campaign will continue till July 15th. May 15th to July 15th. And in many cases, the officials are saying that they have found forged rent agreements, property tax receipts, and electricity bills to obtain GST registration. So this is a crackdown campaign by the central and state authorities of GST against fraudulent and fake invoice and registration. Tax violations are to be checked like fake invoices and registrations. So this campaign will continue till July 15th. GSTN net is used to check fake addresses. GSTN. It stands for Goods and Services Tax Network. N stands for network. So this is a non-profit, non-government company which provides shared IT infrastructure and service to both central and state governments. So I will come with another video explaining all these things in detail. So here ends this video. Thank you for watching Please subscribe and like this video so that I can create more such useful videos for your educational and knowledge purpose. Have a nice day.